Hey, good morning, everybody. So that whole Saturday's at 8:30? Yeah, maybe not on Central Time Zone. It's 8:30 somewhere. So I wanted to come in and share, y'all, you've got me a hot mess. This is not um about being all put together. This is Saturday morning. This is grab you a cup of coffee. Maybe you just stepped out to shower. Maybe like me, I forgot what time it was, and I shoved two turkeys in the smoker because that's going to be Christmas dinner. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious, and that's hence why I'm grabbing something over here off to the side. Um, and that is the fact that Christmas, the holiday season, it's not necessarily great for everybody. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to think about getting up in the morning. Sometimes the idea that your kids, they're not with you this Christmas. This Christmas is different. It looks different. It feels different. It's not that it's wrong. It just feels different. It's off. Maybe you have something going on. Maybe it's family, right? This is the time of year when most people are like, yay, family. And then there are folks who are like, oh, yay, family. And they're having to figure out how to set up boundaries and how to establish, right, a security net for themselves so that they feel safe. And so I wanted to share something with you because I was having a rough week, y'all, a really rough week. And I realized that I wanted to share this with you because this is how you figure out how to get out of bed. This is how you figure out how to, right? It's the one thing that, people will tell you, oh, you can just be happy. Oh, change your mindset. Okay, great. Those are great things to say. But if you don't know how to do those things, you kind of want to flip the other person as a personal message. Send them a little something, something that tells them to bite me. Okay. So let's dive into how do we get ourselves into a position where getting out of bed doesn't seem so hard, about facing the holidays doesn't seem so hard. Okay, I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but it is possible. I know because I've been there. Okay, um, I can remember the first Christmas when my kids weren't going to be home. And I was beside myself. I was like, I cannot physically be here. It was making me sick. Like I was starting to feel physically sick. My mom lived with me, and I happened to know one of the places my mom had always wanted to go was Sedona. And my thought was, okay, well, then let's just go. So, literally, in a few days, like I went from being absolutely miserable and just starting to feel sick because I wasn't going to see my kids at Christmas to knowing I could do something that would brighten my mom's day and help get me out of this idea that I had that without my kids there for Christmas, that I just wasn't, it just wasn't worthwhile. And it helped shift when I realized that I could do something that would be fun for my mom. Now, yes, of course, it was fun for me, but I could do something that she would really enjoy. That helped me find a reason to get out of bed. It helped me find a reason to look forward to Christmas because we were going to take a road trip. My family, we like road trips. And so that's what we did. That may not be an option for everybody. So I want to share with you, how do you figure out what's your thing that you can do? For me, it was doing something for my mom in a road trip, and it helped me deal with some of the emotions and feelings that I was having. So let's dive in. So I was journaling. I'm gonna be like, hey y'all, journal. You don't have to have this fancy one that I do. I've been journaling for quite some time, so I have a fancier journal. And honestly, it's just a big gigantic piece of paper. with dots on it. It's awesome. It can be a napkin. It can be in crayon. How you journal is irrelevant. It's that you actually take time to reflect. And so I want to share this with you because as I was writing and I was just having, y'all, I was all up in my emotions. I was having a very hard time. I was angry, frustrated, hurt, all of the things. And sometimes your brain will do something and it was like, well, what would you tell a client to do? Oh, really? 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 This is where my brain is going to go? I hate this so much. And I was like, okay, well, first thing I would do is tell a client to feel. Like, I need you to feel all the things. Feel them, identify them. When you can put a name on them, then you can start to accept that this is what you're feeling. And then you can start to try to identify and pull on the individual little strings of, well, why do I feel this way? What's causing that, right? What's the source of this emotion? And so that's what I'm going to tell you. Spend some time and reflect. What are you feeling? Identify those feelings, name them. It's probably more than one. Most of us don't just go, oh, I'm feeling sad, and it's just sad, right? We have lots of feelings. We're sad, we're angry, we're frustrated, we're a little resentful, we're feeling a little bit bitter. Okay. I'm also feeling a little bit angry and a little feisty along with that anger. Right. So where do all of those pieces come from? So take some time and do just that. If you are not taking notes, step one, okay, just notice that I did there. Just if you're not taking notes, like pause. Well, if you're on the replay, hit pause. I want you to pause and go step one. Feel the things, identify them. What is the source? Where are they coming from? Okay, so that's step one. Step two, now that you've done all of that, here's what I want you to understand. This is the really cool thing. Our emotions are how we process our feelings. All of the events, things that are happening in our lives, our emotions are the brain's way of saying, oh, hey, this happened. And I went through my Rolodex in my head of all the times that that's happened. And what did you do in response? Oh, you were angry. So I want you to feel angry. Oh, and then this thing over here happened. And so, oh, yep, all the times that's happened, you've been sad. So you're going to feel sad right now. It's doing that because that's how it processes. That's how it knows what to do, right? Our brain is this big survival complex of what networks and wires. And think of it like a filing cabinet where you've got somebody in there going, looking through all the files and finding, oh, okay, that happened. Oh, that's happened on this date, and this date, and we did this. Okay, well, here's the thing. Sometimes those are really old patterns that don't help us anymore. Feeling sad isn't helping me. It's keeping me paralyzed. But it is, however, serving a purpose, right? What's it doing? Well, it's making me feel safe, feel secure. I'm doing this, right? Or maybe it's making you feel angry and you're now going to go do something about it, right? You take action because you're angry. We don't have to be angry to take action. We don't have to have these really strong negative emotions in order to do something about the situation. So this is where we're going to put our conscious system, our conscious self to work and tell our subconscious, thank you for providing us with the information. Because that's the reality, is that it's information. It's helping us understand in the past what has happened when these things have occurred. I feel this way. And then eventually, I feel better, or I let it go, or whatever it is. But eventually it resolves itself. Okay, I now need to go further down that path. What did I do to help me resolve this? Oh, I sat down and we had a conversation. Okay, I can skip this section right here and take it out and now realize that I just need to go have a conversation and talk this out. I went and decided to do something for somebody else because that's part of it, how to help get me out and get me out of myself. And I can now skip the feelings right? The negative feelings, the things that are keeping me stuck and still, I can skip those. And now I have that as an option of something I can do to help me move forward. So I want you to take all of those feelings, right, that you just wrote down, that you just identified, whether you wrote them, you reflected on them, whatever it is. And I want you to ask yourself, okay, so follow the rabbit trail, if you will. What happened that allowed me to step outside of that? I want you looking for healthy options, right? Because sometimes we fall into negative or unhealthy patterns. We fall into patterns of eating too much, of drinking, of going out and doing whatever, but things that are not healthy for us, those coping mechanisms, they're coping mechanisms, but those coping mechanisms are meant to numb us instead of allowing us to feel. So I want you to feel. I want you to feel all the things. Okay. I want you to be able to know that you can move forward. It's going to take a little effort, it takes a little work. Okay. But we can do this. But when y'all, if you have not grabbed your coffee yet this morning, it's Saturday. Let's get something to drink. I don't do coffee. I don't like coffee. It's nasty. More power to you though. Okay, it's a little bit better. For those of you who don't realize I'm in the South, Dr. Pepper is the thing. Okay. So here's what I want you to look at. And I'm going to look at my notes because I wrote this down because y'all, I just could not believe this. So I want you to start, once you have look at this, look at those feelings and those emotions. And I want you to figure out how you can start to interrupt that pattern, because our brain, it loves patterns. It loves things to tell us, oh, hey, you feel this? So then you do A, B, C, D, and you do them in that order. Okay, well, I don't want to do A, B anymore. I just want to go straight to C. Thank you very much. So what can you do to interrupt that pattern? So I want you to see if you can start to look at what was the trigger for this emotion. Was it an event? Was it something somebody said? Was it a feeling? Was it just a life occurrence that frankly is outside of your control? Or something new that you're having to deal with? What's the trigger for it? When we can consciously start to be aware of those triggers, we can interrupt the pattern faster. Okay, we can interrupt the pattern sooner. Those are good things. This all is stuff that takes time to learn and do, and it's okay. I have faith in you. Okay, now I want you to figure out, what do you want to do instead? What's the new pattern when somebody says something that hurts your feelings, right? And it's in a relationship, okay? And you're going to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel sad. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad. There's nothing wrong with feeling angry. There's nothing wrong with our feelings. How we then move forward from that feeling, that's then our choice. If we're more conscious about it, instead of allowing our subconscious to just take over and say, okay, A, B, C, D, you're about to go through A, B, C, D. Okay, no, I don't like A and B. I want to jump straight to C. So what can I do to interrupt that pattern so I can go straight to C, so I can start to eliminate that A and B step in there that's unpleasant, that has me not getting out of bed for 2 days, right? What can I do to jump straight to C, which is truly processing that and having that conversation, working it out? What can I do in between those two, that step, that trigger, right? And then step C, where I get the solution that I need. What can I do in between that? What can I put in its place? Right? What that's going to be for everybody, that's going to be different. For some of you, it may be journaling. For some of you, it may be reflecting. For some of you, it may be taking a walk, right? Just go take a walk, makes it feel better, right? It depends on you. There's lots of things that you have available as options. If you realize that you're stuck and trying to figure out some ideas, don't hesitate. Shoot me a DM, drop a comment on the video, and you and the whole community will help come up with lots of ideas for you. Okay. Now that you have this next action that you want to take, I want you to think about the feelings that you want to have instead. Okay. What do you want to feel in place of being sad? What do you want to feel instead? What thoughts do you want to have? Because you want to be mindful of not just what you think, but what you say and what you do. Those three things together help shift our entire state of being. We can go from being sad to being some other emotion by shifting what we think, what we say, and what we're doing. Sounds kind of crazy, I know, but it's neuroassociative conditioning. This is, I know, like it, fancy words. It's linked to, it's sort of, some of you might have heard of neuro-linguistic programming, right? NLP. Okay, so what we say matters, what we think matters, what we do matters. When we can link all three of these together, if we can interrupt any one of those, and I can interrupt what I'm thinking, and then from that state, I can interrupt what I'm feeling, and I can then interrupt and change what I'm doing, I can make that emotional shift. Okay. So it's this kind of combination together. And you have the ability, you have this opportunity right now that whatever it is that you're dealing with and you're identifying those emotions, you have this golden opportunity to consciously go, wait a second. When I feel this, I want to think, say, and do this, because that's going to get me to eliminate that A and B step, and I can go straight to C and D. Y'all, it's gold. It's amazing. Okay, you ready? Now, I want you to think about what's one action, just one. This does not have to be complicated. Just one thing that you can do right now to shift, no matter how small it is. Is it get up? Is it say hello? Is it send a text message? Is it simply to smile? Maybe it's take a shower. Okay. Whatever it happens to be, find one action. It doesn't have to be super big. It doesn't have to be complicated. One small thing that you can do, that you can act on right now in that moment. Because when you can do that, you've already started to shift that emotion. You've already started this process of, how do I get out of bed when I really just don't want to? Maybe you sit up. Okay, maybe you sit up. Maybe that is the momentum you need, is just to simply sit up. And it's okay. Sitting up is progress, and you celebrate that. You celebrate the fact that you did one thing to push you forward. Y'all, you might lie back down. It's okay. It's all good. But you chose to sit up. You consciously made the decision to sit up. That's progress. Okay, now, here's the last piece. I want you to recognize that you need to be kind and give yourself grace. You know, we have this thing, there's this saying, like, be kind. And it's always usually be kind to others, right? Be kind to everybody else. But I want you to remember that you have to be willing to be flexible, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace and compassion. Because you, just like everybody else in the world and everybody else that we encounter, deserves that. So be kind and give yourself grace as you move through. I didn't say this was easy. I just said that you can do it. All right, I really sincerely hope that this helps you. As I said, I know the holidays, it's full of joy, but not for everybody. It can be a challenge. It can be a struggle. But I want you to know that you have the ability to do something about it. And so that is some very specific, hopeful, helpful hints for you. Choose one thing, just one thing you can do today to help you move forward. All right. Until next Saturday, hopefully on time next Saturday, y'all have a great week. Mwah. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.